Hey everybody, and welcome to episode number 240 of the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of John Boy Media, and I'm super excited because we haven't talked to this guy since the end of spring training. Chris Bassitt of the Toronto Blue Jays, where the heck we been hiding you? Where you been?
All over the country, but yeah, I'm glad to be back for sure. But yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, well, we are joining you from Detroit. We are, truth be told, we are recording this on a Friday. So this is the closest stop you will make to where you grew up. You grew up about, 75 miles from here?
Yeah, it's like a 40-minute drive, 50-minute drive. Nothing crazy.
Well, no, then it's not 75 miles, because unless my dad was driving, because that's how long it would take him to cover, whatever. So is Detroit like where you learned about big league baseball? I know you were a Cleveland fan, but did you drive to Detroit since it was closer to go watch big league games?
No, it was more Cleveland sports. It was all like Kenny Lofton, Jim Thome, Manny Ramirez. It was all those guys. So I mean, obviously Detroit, like the Lions and stuff, definitely dominate. I would say TV rights and all that stuff, like where I'm from. But overall, I would say I grew up on Cleveland sports for sure.
Yeah. Wait. So I know that you and I talk about this all the time offline about the Browns. So even though the Browns, because you're in your mid 30s, so that would put you as a rising Browns fan kind of when they left, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So how the heck did you stay a Browns fan?
I had dart boards of Art Modell. I had a whole bunch of stuff. I had the seats from the old stadium. So I don't know. I guess I was young enough to always watch the sport and whatever. And the Browns came back, and I was obviously I finally had a team again. But overall, my brother was a Lions fan, so I guess I watched some Lions games. But yeah, I was teamless for a little while.
Okay, so your brother must have gone apeshit last year when they finally won the division and had home playoff games and nearly made it to the Super Bowl. He must have gone crazy.
Yeah, I was. I promised him, joking around last year, even before the season started, that I would get him to the Super Bowl if they went, because I'm like, it's the Lions. They're not. Yeah. I almost cost myself a lot on that one, but because he was like, I didn't forget. If they made the Super Bowl, I'm like, we're going. I'm like, all right, I understand, but
I mean, it would have cost you a pretty penny, not just the Super Bowl, but taking him out to Vegas. Because I'll tell you, I was out there and I have never seen a shit show quite like it was out there in terms of prices for hotels and meals and just trying to get around the town. So, maybe if it happens this year down in New Orleans, it'll be a little bit better if the Lions get there.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. So one thing I saw leak out on social media was that the Blue Jays City Connect jerseys are coming out soon. And there was a video of Kikuchi, whom they pulled into another room, and he's like, oh, I love these. They're great. Have you grabbed a sneak peek?
Yeah, I definitely have, for sure. Obviously, media-wise, they make videos and they want to do commercials. So we definitely have worn them. A certain group of us have worn them in videos and the teaser videos and stuff that will come out and stuff like that. So yeah.
All right. Give us a little bit of you don't have to tell us what they are, but you can tell us kind of, man.
I'm not allowed. I want to, but I'm not allowed. I've been sworn to secrecy. These things are CIA thing. City Connects. I wish I could just say hey, they're this. They're like, hey, listen, you're not allowed to say anything about them. I was like, all right, that's fine, but I don't know the reason for such crazy secret stuff, but MLB does not want us talking about them for whatever reason.
Okay. All right. I respect that. I'm always curious on the guys who make the cut for the videos or to shoot the still photography, because I imagine it gets a little middle schoolish, they picked him. They didn't pick me and all that sort of stuff. Are there certain guys who are like, God dang it, why didn't I get to wear those?
I think in this profession, almost everyone's like, if you don't pick me, you're doing me a favor. So yeah, it's kind of you're hoping you don't get picked almost, but it's fun. It is what it is. It's part of the gig, but I don't think there's any hurt feelings that they had to do. They didn't have to do the commercials and stuff, for sure.
City Connect model Chris Bassitt. You can put it on your resume now, dude.
Yeah, I got it. That's mine.
All right, more of the show is coming your way, but first, you know how much I love my pooch, Sydney. And several months ago, we made a huge change in her life that has made her love me even more than she originally did. And that's saying something. We kicked the kibble to the side. We got rid of the gooey dog food in favor of the farmer's dog. The farmer's dog food, it is developed with vets, made from fresh, real meat and veggies. It's perfectly portioned for your dog and delivered right to your door. Easy way for you to get started. Head on over to thefarmersdog.com. You got to fill out a questionnaire. It takes less than 5 minutes. It's the simple stuff. It's the age, the breed of your dog, how much exercise it gets, what it normally eats, and voila. In just a few short days, they're going to send you a big package specifically portioned for your dog. It actually says Sydney's name on the package of food, so she has some ownership and she gets really fired up when it appears at our house. You stick it in the freezer, and then about 24 hours before the dog is ready to eat from that package, you thaw it out. You stick it in the fridge, and it's ready to go. It is smart, healthy pet food that you can feel good about giving any dog of any age, whether they're Sydney's age, and we think she's 12 or 13. We rescued her over a decade ago, or if they're just getting started out in life. It helps them with their skin and improved coat. It helps them with bad breath, helps them with better and healthier poops. And if you're a dog owner, you know how important that sort of stuff is. So once again, it doesn't matter what age or how much exercise your dog gets, the farmer's dog is perfect for you. Help keep your dog healthy and playing ball with you. You're going to get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/rose. Plus, you get free shipping, which is a big deal because it's not a tiny little shoe box. It is a big time box, so that's going to save you some serious dough as well. Head on over to thefarmersdog.com/rose, half off. At the end of the day, who doesn't want their dog looking up into your eyes and saying, "Rai-ra-roo"? Tonight, you guys started the series in Detroit last night and came up big winners. And tonight, I'll be watching a bit because Alek Manoah is back on the mound. I believe this is his third start since he came back. How's his headspace?
It's good. It's really good. I would say he's matured a lot. He's still growing as a human. He's still growing as a baseball player, but he's in such a better spot than he was, say, last year. And I mean, credit to him, credit to like the organization. But I mean, we're all very, very excited, and it's not so much like we're worrying about Manoah anymore. It's more so just now it's going back to this, having fun, is trying to pitch and just working on pitching and stuff like that. And he's been a breath of fresh air for us this year, just because last year was such a disaster for all of us.
I'm curious, as a veteran of this staff and as a guy who's opinionated, you're not afraid to share your feelings and your thoughts. When he came back up, did you pull him aside, and if so, what'd you tell him?
No, I mean, so like the way that our lockers are like constructed, all the starters are kind of like together back at home, and obviously with him being on the IL, he was there a lot. So I mean, he always talked with me and Gauzy and stuff like that. So I mean, there's a million conversations that we had with him. It was just more so like, stop worrying about so much stuff. Like the thing is like this year, the way that this year is gone. I think there's a lot of people that were in that boat, that they were just trying to do way too much. Like you're trying to carry the weight of 5 people just for one person, so to speak. And so I think everyone's kind of growing through this. Everyone's kind of learning to like basically like just do their job and just have fun doing it. But yeah, I think Manoah has showed up. I mean, he put in a crazy amount of work to get back to what he kind of was. And he's somewhat seeing the rewards of it right now. Now it's just, like I say, just stay level headed and just be humble and be thankful and just keep on working. And hopefully things obviously keep rolling the way that they have.
But I'm curious with him, part of what made him burst onto the scene is not only his ability to throw the baseball, but like he's a firecracker out there. Like he plays to a visiting crowd and all that sort of stuff. He likes getting hyped up. Does he still need that in his game, or does he need to tone that down in order to get back to what he was?
Yeah, like so like As crazy as it is, like, okay, like say like, and I'm not saying these two are the same exact people, like by any means, but like you look at a guy like Tommy Pham. We just played him. I look at Tommy Pham and I'm like, man, every single day, this guy comes absolutely locked in. Like every day, he comes locked in. And there's a lot of guys like that throughout the league. And then there's also a lot of guys that are not even close to that. Like some guys, like they'll take 3 or 4 days off and they don't even realize it. Like Manoah is just so like hyper competitive that he almost just like can't help himself to like show emotion, show like that raw emotion of him being excited of a strikeout or a big out. Like he's just hyper competitive, and it's like, all right, just channeling that the right way. So it somewhat looks like you're not showing people up, or like however feelings want to get hurt or whatever it may be. But the reality is he's just bringing it every start day of his. He's bringing it. That's it. And I think like you look back and you step back and look at it and you're like, man, like you're almost jealous of that feeling, because like there's some days that's like, man, I just don't have it. Like I'm just like, I'm out of it, whatever it may be. I'm like, I need to be like Manoah today. Like, but instead I'm just like, you're almost going through the motions, so to speak. So I don't look at his like demeanor or his like so-called like act on the mound or things like that as a negative. I look at it as like almost a blessing. Now it's just harness that into the right like so-called direction, and I think it's going to be an unbelievable match.
I'm rooting for him. Last year, I picked him to win the AL Cy Young Award. That didn't go great for me. Went worse for him. I think the sport is better when we have different kinds of personalities out there. Not everybody's got to be cookie cutter and the same. So I, for one, am rooting for him. And I'm rooting for you guys. Listen, we've become friends. I want you guys to do well. But to say anything less than it's been an unmitigated disaster through a quarter of the season, I think would be misguided. Like, it's part of the reason I haven't had you on yet. Like, I've been waiting for you guys to win like 3 in a row and just feel better about a conversation.
Me too.
Yeah. So how have you dealt with that? You've been through a lot of stuff, every place that you've been. But how do you deal with it when you have such high expectations? You're like, Jesus, can we get this thing going?
Yeah, I mean, there's just like literally so many factors to this. And the truth of it is like so many of them are just going to be excuses, in my opinion. Like we can like I'll just throw out some examples. We can look at schedule. We can look at some injuries. We can look at our back end bullpen guys being injured to start the year. You can throw up so many things, but then like all 30 teams can basically say, listen, we all go through the same crap. Like you can't just say that, because everyone goes through the same crap. I just think the reality is that too many guys showed up this year and they put way too much pressure on themselves to be the very, very best they can be. Like they basically came into the season and said, listen, the only way for us to be great this year is for me to be the best I possibly can be. That's the only way. Like I look at like a guy like Bo Bichette, I look at a guy like Vladdy, I look at like Gausman, me. I look at like certain guys that are really struggling throughout the year, and I'm like, the only way to be great is just to keep on adding up good days in a row. That's it. I think we kind of fell into a trap where we were trying to add up great days in a row. And that's just not how you become great. Like you're great through long stretches because you're just adding good days in a row. That's it. Like you just keep piling up good days. So to me, again, I thought for a solid month we were all in a big trap where it was like, hey, like good's not good enough. And that's a crazy thought to think, but that's, I think, what a lot of people were thinking, was this good was not good enough. So obviously we've had a lot of talks, private talks with each other, and it was like, hey, let's just get back to being us and just having fun. Like if our good is not good enough, then that's that's really not our problem. Like, it is what it is. It's not our problem if our good's not good enough. So, yeah, I think the last, I would say 2-3 weeks have really, really changed, just the dynamic of our team, in the aspect of the way we're kind of approaching games, with the way that we're kind of playing. And we're playing a lot more free. And I think you can see that, within the kind of like the play style of what we're doing. And then also the, like, obviously the performances on the field. But yeah, overall, I would just say just way too much on us to start the year.
Well, you talked about having those private talks. There was a well-documented team meeting after, I believe, a 10-1 thumping at the hands of the Philadelphia Phillies. You don't have to take us inside the locker room. I respect what you guys say in there. That's your business. It's none of ours. But I am curious about the dynamic of a team meeting, because most of us as baseball fans have no idea what the purpose is or how it even gets called. Can you kind of give us a little taste of how something like that comes about and what does take place? Does anybody raise their hand when they want to talk? What is it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's just a number of like the veteran guys, or a number of guys that are so-called respected on the team that want to say something. And I think it's more so I think in those meetings you realize, okay, like, you're basically throwing, this was like, for us, it was a players only meeting. You're throwing 25 to say that say we had some rehab guys there. Say we had 30 guys there. You're basically throwing like 3 alpha males in a room together, and you're basically saying, hey, like, F your feelings. Like, it's time to basically call a spade, so to speak, when it comes to our issues. And we're just going to lay it out there. Like, if you have issues, start saying it. And so that's what we kind of did. And it was not a negative thing. It was more so a positive thing. But yeah, I mean, it was just, guys, these are our issues, and we need to stop. Like, like I kind of alluded to in the beginning, there's too much pressure on a lot of people to do great. But then there's also effort level and stuff like that. It's just, yeah, there's obviously a big mix of kind of what we talked about. But again, I think it was just like, I feel like everyone kind of thinks things throughout the year, but no one says stuff. Sometimes a lot of things got to be said and feelings got to be hurt, and that's what kind of happened.
So it sounds like when you have those meetings, like when I was younger, I guess we used to call it concerns group. I don't know what the hell that phrase meant, but it meant that, hey, I'm concerned. Like, I remember this when I went to summer camp. Like, we would say this, so-and-so, it bothers me when you do this or something like that. Like, could it be an effort thing? Like, hey, dude, I saw you not run this ball out, or when this ball was hitting the gap, I thought you could have done this, or, hey, pitcher, you didn't back up a base. Like, is that sort of stuff said?
Yeah, I mean, some of that is said, but I think it's more so an overall, like, collection, of things. I would say, like, I'm not going to go in there and just like start talking crap about hitting or defense or whatever, like, it may be. I would say it's more so like, still stick to your group in the aspect of that. Like, I'm not going to be going around telling people how to hit or whatever it may be. It's just, I would say it's more oversight of just like a general consensus of like what is going right, what is going wrong. And then, yeah, and then just people talking, I would say.
Got it. Hey, big announcement here. John Boy Media and iHeart Podcast have teamed up. You're probably wondering, Rose, what the heck do you mean? Well, I mean that 2 of your favorite John Boy Media shows can now be found over the Dan Patrick Show, in addition to where you already consume them. That's right. Wake and Jake and Jimmy's Three Things have joined the iHeart Podcast and the Dan Patrick Show family. And the best part, they'll still continue to be the very same shows that you know and love. If you couldn't tell, we're really excited around here about the relationship between Dan Patrick and John Boy Media. We couldn't do this cool stuff without your support, so thank you very much. So we're almost at June, and this is kind of the time when you know pretty much what you're dealing with. Like, we're 2 months in, we know what you are. You could always play better, but we kind of have an idea. And then within the last week, there's been these rumors, hey, there's a possibility that Bo or Vladdy might get dealt. Now, this is stuff that just could be out there, but do you guys hear things like that? And if so, do you laugh about it? Do you talk about it? Or are you like, geez, really? Like, if we don't get our shit together over the next month, they could break us up.
No, I mean, we know that we understand the situation. I mean, if we don't start playing better, if we don't, I mean, we're the crazy part is I feel like we have played terrible this year and we're like 2 games out of the wild card spot.
Right.
I mean, that's the craziest part is like we literally have had the second or third hardest schedule so far this year. I think going out, we have like the second or third hardest schedule going out. Our schedule this year, for whatever reason, is an absolute gauntlet. Obviously, it's because of our division. But overall, we understand the situation. Like a lot of guys are to that point in their career where it's like make or break, and the window is basically barely cracked open. Like it is 1 or 2 more turns until it's shut. And the reality is we all understand that. And I think that's also a big part as to why there was so much pressure, so to speak, to start the year was like, guys, we understand like we don't have a year left to be really, really good. We have 3 months. Like we have 2.5 months. Because if the first 3 months don't go well, this team is going to get blown up. We just understand that's just the reality of it. Like that's just the reality of the sport because and I'm not saying a total rebuild, but I mean, there's definitely will be pieces. Like you become a seller just because it's just where guys are at in their contracts, where guys are at in arbitration, things like that. And it's like, it is what it is. It's part of the sport. But yeah, we definitely understand that.
I'm curious, and then this will be the last thing I want to hit on, kind of negative-ish, and move on to the rest of the stuff because this sport is too great. But I am curious. You had a couple of really tough starts in a row.
Mm-hmm.
You've been around this sport for a long time. You've seen everything. And how do you deal with it? Like you've got 2 young kids at home. You've got a very supportive wife that cares about you and what you do for a living. Like, how do you manage the ups and downs as a mid-30s father of 2 now, as opposed to when you were younger in your career?
Yeah, I would say I'm okay with it. It's just I still genuinely struggle with it. Just in the aspect that I'm not stupid and I know the numbers. I understand certain things, and I feel like the more you know, a lot of the times the worse it can be. Just in the general say a general thing of there was a long stretch, like I say, like batting average on ground balls. There was a long stretch where, for my career, my batting average on ground balls is like 200. It's like 207, 210, something like that. 200. We'll say 200. For like 6 weeks, 7 weeks in the season, my ground ball batting average is almost 400. So like it's literally double. Like it's literally double. So like for me, and there's a lot of stats like this. For me, I'm just sitting there and I say I give up a ground ball base hit and I'm like, gosh dang it, man. Like what is going on? If I didn't know the numbers, I feel like it would not even be a thought. But then like, okay, you're thinking about it and you're like, just go strike everybody out. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm not Tyler Glass now. Like, what the F am I doing trying to strike everybody out? Like, so like, I felt like it was a trap for like 2-3 weeks of me just trying to be somebody that I'm not. And I was making really stupid mistakes. My walk rates were through the roof. I was worried about walks and walks were happening. So it was just sit down and like, obviously like a lot of conversations because Gauze was struggling a little bit, a lot of conversations with him, a lot of conversations with Pete. And it was just like, let's just make this fun. Like stop worrying about whatever the numbers are, whatever this is at. Like it sucks going to a game and seeing like 5 ERA on the freaking scoreboards everywhere that are, the Jumbotrons are massive now. So it's like a 5 is like huge. So yeah, like, I mean, I don't mind saying this. Like, what we've decided to do as starters, because like, it is what it is. There's too many things going on. We're like, hey, let's see how many quality starts in a row we can just rack up. Let's just have a game within the game and just have fun with each other. And like we've started to do that, and like it's turned it into to being fun. Like I'm not worried about whatever it may be. I'm just worried about, hey, let's have a quality start. That's it. That's 6 innings, 3 runs or better. That's it. But yeah, to me, I like you can say like, yeah, I've been through struggles. I've been through this. I've been through that. Like the reality is, I've been through struggles. Like I've struggled in the past on bad teams. I've never really struggled on a good team. So I in my heart, I believe this is a really good team. So like I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I'm letting so many people down just by the year that I'm having right now. And it can snowball on you easily, very, very easily, because there's too much data, there's too much things going on that you're looking at film constantly, and it just overwhelms you to a point. And so I feel like a lot of guys on our team have had to take a step back, like get rid of all the stuff, like start just competing, start having fun. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is just like F the data, F everything else. Like let's go have fun with your friends on the field, and whatever happens, happens.
Love it. You're like, Les Snead of the LA Rams for the longest time was like, F them picks. We don't need first round picks. You're like, F the data. Let's go. I like it. Now let's get to some fun stuff. It's always great when you do, you play this to win rings and build bonds and have great times with teammates. There are some individual milestones that come along the way, like your 900th career strikeout. If I had told you at the beginning of your career that you would have gotten it on a pitch clock violation, you would have said,
what are we doing?
What happened here?
I guess he wasn't looking at me with 8 seconds left.
Isn't that kind of a bummer? Like, didn't you want to get him like swinging at a breaking ball or something?
Listen, I like the pitch clock. I'm glad there's a pitch clock, but I hate the pitch clock too. Like I hate it. Like I like the less than 4 hour games, like 2.5, 3 hour games. I enjoy that. I truly do. But I also hate the pitch clock in the sense that like I feel like there's just no feel to it at all. Like there's just none. Like I'm not even looking at him, but he has to be looking at me. It doesn't even make sense. Like literally, I can be off the mound doing cartwheels behind the mound with 8 seconds left, and he's got to watch me do it, or he gets a ball. Or gets a strike. Like that doesn't even make sense.
I think you need to add that to your repertoire. Let's see if you can do like the old Bugs Bunny cartwheel into like one motion, stepping on the rubber and then throw.
There's a lot of listen, I do a lot of crap on the mound. I get that. There's also a lot of things on the mound. I know the rules, and I'm trying to expose the rules. Like that's just the reality of it.
What can you do?
I'm trying to think of one. I'm trying to think of one that's like I don't mind giving up.
Okay, all right. I know you pitchers. You're very protective of your territory up there. I get it. I understand. Yeah. No, I don't want to give out anybody. Yeah. I don't want to give out any trade secrets. Okay.
No, we're good.
I get it. You're one of the guys that does call you call your game, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So where do you keep that thing? How do you know which button you're hitting? And have you ever accidentally hit well, you're hearing it. So if you hit it, then you know you're hitting the wrong button, right?
That's right.
Okay. Do you really throw
I put on my belt, and there's literally just 9 buttons. Like it's your job. Like if I said, hey, Chris, like your job is on the line here, so to speak, you have to learn 9 buttons. But like,
you think I could figure it out?
I think you would figure this out within about 20 minutes. Like,
got it. Okay.
Like it's and you can change these buttons however you want to change them. You can put them wherever you want to put them.
Got it.
You just got to map out these 9 buttons and then go ahead. But yeah, it's very, very, very easy. Very easy.
Okay. Not that I've ever thrown a pitch at the major league level. 9 sounds like a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Do your catchers every fifth day go, Jesus, we got the 9-button pusher guy back on the mound. For goodness, do you ever apologize? You're like, sorry guys, I got too much here.
No, I mean, I would say I continuing throughout the year, we've been continuing to try to like basically have our catchers call more pitches. And I think it's just more so like, hey, we're working together. That's it. I think I said it. If I haven't said it, I'm shocked. But I hate me calling my own game. I hate it. But like the reality of it is like I don't have another option. Like I like say like I want to throw a sinker in. I have legit 8 pitches. Say I want to throw a sinker into say a righty. I can't shake 2 times and be ready. Like that's just the reality of it. Like say he calls slider, I say no. Then he calls curveball, I say no. I'm screwed then. Because literally it's not like I can shake 3 more times to a sinker in. I don't have another option. So it just stinks that like I always for the life of me, I've always like I think why I hate call my own game is because how much I genuinely enjoyed like working with the catchers. How much I enjoyed working with Stephen Vogt and working with Sean Murphy and working with James McCann and Nito and all those guys. Like a lot of I've had a lot of catchers. But I enjoyed working with them. I enjoyed sitting down with them the next day and talking about the game and how I felt and things like that. I don't really have that anymore. It's like I'm sitting down myself and I'm like thinking about how I call the game. I don't like it. But it's part of the game now. Like even though I don't like it, it's part of the game. I'm not like it's not going to change because I don't like it. It's just I don't like it. That's it.
Hey, what's that? Father's Day is coming up. You need to buy a gift for somebody who's a dad, somebody who likes, I don't know, baseball. Well, loyal listeners, you have hit the jackpot. Head on over to shop.johnboymedia.com. You can find your brand new Father's Day line. We got tees. We've obviously got dad hats with special dad designs for a whole bunch of teams as well. So head on over to our store at shop.johnboymedia.com. Get your Father's Day shopping done right now. Believe me, as a father, I would say thank you oh so much. You ended up spending 1 or 2 years with the Mets. I forgot. Was it just the one?
One, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you were up there when Lindor was there and made a little news this week because he made his return to Cleveland for the first time since he got traded and just kind of a scheduling quirk. He hadn't been back. And there was a lot of discussion with me as a Cleveland fan about what fans should do. Should they cheer? Should they boo? I came into listen, guys, I mean, it was a little clunky on the way out, but for God's sakes, he gave us some amazing years and got us within this much of our first World Series since 1948 and that whole bit. And then there's a lot of New York fans that are chiming in like, what a waste this guy is. $341 million, and this is what we get. We get no leadership and all this sort of stuff. I'm not telling you to be a character witness here, but I'm going to give you the floor here on Francisco Lindor and what he means to the New York Mets that maybe Mets fans don't realize.
Yeah. I mean, I also saw, I don't not to like change subjects by any means. I also saw stuff written about how Pete Alonso is a bad teammate or something like that too. Like Lindor is an A-plus teammate, like an A-plus teammate. Like you never have to come to the field and worry about Francisco Lindor as a father, as a dad, like as a husband, as off the field anything. Like Lindor is A-plus across the board. And then when it comes to baseball, like he's just quiet and works his butt off. Like he loves to joke around and have fun with you, but like he just is like, hey, like be a professional, work hard, and like let's go win a whole bunch of games. But like the thing that bothers me is like people think like, hey, he's not a leader. In what way? Like in what way are we even talking? Like are we talking because he doesn't like bark at people? Like if you're mad at that, like I don't know if that's ever been him. So you're mad at him for not being someone that you never even saw before? Like yeah, he doesn't like shout and scream and stuff like that, but I've definitely seen it. but like I've definitely seen him get on people before. Like it is his team, no doubt about it, and he works his butt off. He tries really hard. Like is it because his stats aren't good enough or whatever it may be? I don't know, but like the character attacks, they couldn't be more false. Like I've seen people even somehow be around him and still say stuff, and I'm like, they couldn't be more false. Like Lindor is A+ across the board. I'd play for him any day of the week. Like literally A+. I to this day don't understand it, and it pissed me off about Alonso too when I saw it. So that's why I brought it up too. But like Pete's another guy, A+ across the board. Doesn't even make sense. I think just because you're in New York, people want to like bash you or say things to like diminish you or whatever you want to say. But they go to any team, whatever team they go to, the team's happy to have them. I promise you that.
Got it. Listen, at the end of the day, it's also productivity on the field. And Francisco is the first one to tell you, I'm not happy about what I've done. And Alonso with the same sort of thing. I think that's different than the character assassination that has gone on at times.
And that is okay. Like if you say, hey, like you signed this deal and you're playing to this level and you're not good enough for your contract, I think we can be like, okay, you know what? Like no crap. Like, you don't think I don't know that? Like, no crap. But to like bring like so-called like character flaws or like lack of leadership, whatever it may be, like that's just simply just made up BS. That's just not even close to being true. Like not even close. So yeah, just keep being Lindor. Like I wish I had a lot of Lindors, I'll say that.
I'm with you, brother. I'm curious about a few other things here. Beginning of the year, you guys were playing Houston, and you guys always know your numbers, guys' numbers.
You got to bring up Yordan. I know you're going to bring up Yordan.
Hey, listen, it was one of my favorite. Is that it? You've quit? You're out? Come on now. I actually, because you're an intense competitor out there. Like, I love that about you. I think it's awesome. I thought it was very humanizing when you went up to him and basically was like, dude, stop killing me. What did you say to him?
Yeah, I think I said like you effing kill me.
And his response was?
He just his face was like, I know. He smiled he smiled at me and he was like, yeah, I know. Like he's a tough, like it's just for me, he's just such a tough at bat because how do I say this and not rile up people up? In the old school days, I would throw a ball like close to his head. Like in the old school days. Not hit him. I'm not trying to hit him, but like you're going to get out of the way of the ball. Like I'm not going to let you, because what he does very, very well, he stands off the plate, so it's really hard to get inside. Like it's really hard to make him uncomfortable inside because he's so far off the plate. And then he dives. So like to basically not let him dive, you've got to throw in. And the problem is he's so far off the plate. Throwing in is like deliberate as can be. For me especially, because I don't ever miss there. Like that's just the reality. I don't miss left, like my glove side batter's box. Like that's just never my miss. So for me, I don't trust an umpire to basically like, I feel like the umpires are very smart. They know his numbers versus me. I don't trust the umpires in the aspect of I throw one up and in and miss him. And then say like the next at bat, I throw another one and I hit him. Like say in the ribs, that I don't get thrown out and suspended like 10 games. Because I'm deliberately throwing at him. Yes, I am deliberately throwing at him, but I'm expecting him to get out of the way. And if he doesn't get out of the way, it's his fault. Because like, hey, like you got to know that I'm coming in. I'm not letting you sit there and dive over the plate and just basically try to like either hit sinkers for a homer to left, or if I throw off speed, now you're on it and now you can hook it to right. But the reality of the game is you're not allowed to throw at people anymore. And I understand the reason why. I get that. I respect that. But I don't have a way to make him uncomfortable. And the fact that I don't really have a way to make him uncomfortable along with his skill is a bad recipe for me. So I would say that's like the biggest thing for me is just like I'm sitting there, I'm like, I got 8 pitches and I don't think I have one that works against you right now. So yeah, well we're I think a knuckleball's coming up, I'll tell you that. If I face them again, 46-mile-an-hour knuckleball. I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna tell you that.
Hey, dude, go be Zach Greinke. Go for it, man.
I'm going submarine knuckleball or something. Something crazy, something nuts.
Well, I'm just happy that there aren't too many of those guys walking around the league where you know that it's. And by the way, I mean Yordan Alvarez. It's a decent list of pitchers who feel that way about. I mean, that guy is he is as good as you get because his splits are insane. Lefty righty doesn't matter. Power to all fields. He's impressive, man.
He really is. But again, I think the issue is how far off and I haven't really talked to a lot of pitchers, but I almost guarantee you that the issue is how far off the plate he is.
It's interesting. It's interesting. Have you had a swig of Kikuchi's $3,000 bottle of whiskey?
Yeah, a couple times, and it's. I'll say this: it's worth every penny. It is unbelievable. Yeah, I really like bourbons and stuff like that. Like that's what I enjoy. And yeah, it is fabulous. It is dang good.
So he has this stuff shipped in, or does he get it there? And what's the backstory?
Like I think it's genuinely just like his favorite. That's what he like kind of found, and that's what he likes. But then like the company also like has like basically reached out to him and said like, hey, like we really appreciate you kind of like exposing us, so to speak. And they started giving him a couple bottles and stuff like that. So I think it's like kind of a partnership amongst those two now. But I mean, A plus stuff. I'll say that. I can't. He's not starting tonight. No. He started last game in Detroit. I'm hoping we win in Detroit so I can have some with him. Yeah.
Is there one pitcher who's like such a puss that he can't down it?
No.
Everybody can get him?
Yeah, I don't think we have any of those guys on this team.
That's nice. Your bobblehead was freaking awesome. Mm-hmm. I like different kinds of bobbleheads. Those are your actual dogs that are on it?
Yeah.
How'd you come up with that?
I'll say this, the Toronto media team's unbelievable. I didn't come up with nothing. I really didn't. Like we had like this special when it comes to like this off season. We had like this like video basically like kind of like off season life, so to speak. They knew I had 2 dogs and like, hey, like we want to make a bobblehead with your dogs on it. And I was like, go for it. And yeah, it was awesome.
So give us a little background on the pooches. Who are they? What breed? Did you rescue them? What's the deal?
Both are golden doodles. Ansley, she's 8, I want to say. She's my old girl. Just loves to be in the water. My wife hates it because literally we live on the water, like we live on a creek, so to speak. And you let that dog outside and that dog is going in the water. Like she can't get enough of it. But she lives inside, so like you always got to give her a bath. And then we were crazy enough to buy another dog and then get pregnant at the same time. So our newest puppy, she's 1. She's also a golden doodle. She's Shay. And yeah, I guess you can kind of say from the Mets, like we got Shay from the Mets, so to speak. But yeah, so she's the same thing, but she does not like the water. She just barks at the oldest one, like, hey, come back here. She does not like the water. So
I love that. God, I saw that bobblehead and I was like, that is, if you got an extra,
I can send you one. I'll send you one.
Nice. I appreciate that. Did you see the Bryce Harper promposal?
Yeah, I did. I saw that on TV yesterday, right?
Yeah.
It
So
happened recently, right?
it did. Within the last few days, there's a kid who lives in Harper's neighborhood, knocked on his door and said, "Hey, listen, this girl I want to go to prom with is a huge Phillies fan. Is there any way that you can tape a video for her?" He said, "Okay, I'll take down your email. I'll see what I can do." As the kid is walking away, Harper's like, "Hey, what if we go over to her house right now, knock on her door and ask her?" And he's like, yeah. So, I mean, by the way, look at her. She runs over and gives Bryce Harper the hug before she gave young little Jake a hug and was like, "God, what a maneuver." That kid's got some serious balls to go knock on Bryce Harper's door and ask him for some help with a promposal, don't you think?
Yeah, that's cool. I really like that. Like, good on Harper, good on the kid. Like, good on both sides. That's sick. That's I like that. I like that stuff. I don't know why people like. I feel like people like somehow hate on fun stuff, but I love that stuff.
Oh, yeah. No, it's great. I just can't believe that somebody would have the you-know-whats to go do that. Like, that's pretty impressive, kid.
Yeah, I would say no doubt it's one of the scariest. If he's willing to do that, like hey, you know what? I think he's going to be pretty good in life if you have so called the audacity to do that, so to speak. Like,
And good for Bryce Harper, too, by the way,
for
because,
sure,
like,
no doubt.
like now the only problem is now everybody's going to be like, "Hey, well, Bryce, is like the master of the promposal." Like, that's going to become a
Yeah,
side
but
gig
like,
for him.
yeah, but like to me, so like that's the thing. Like, I feel like so you have say you have Bryce Harper do this like really cool thing, and say they go ask I don't even know JT Realmuto and on their team. And like, hey, do you want to do the same thing? And he says, like, I don't have time. Now he like people like, oh, he's a dick because he don't have time, but Bryce does. Like, just come on, like Bryce did something great. It doesn't mean everyone's got to do the same thing. Like, just
Right.
enjoy it. That's it. Just enjoy it. Like, enjoy what Bryce did. Enjoy what the kid did. It was a great moment. That's it.
I don't think we had promposals when I was going to prom. I remember my junior prom. I went with some girl I did not know. It was like a family friend. I felt so bad for her. So bad for her. First of all, I was nothing great. I like peaked at like 25 and that was it. I had like a 16-month where I peaked and that was it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure promposals started with social media. I don't remember any of that really. Like, very, very little of that when I was there.
Do you think your senior prom date knows that you're a star?
I don't even consider myself a star, so like that's weird to say.
Come on now. Come on now.
I really don't. Yeah, I mean, I went to prom with a girl named Abby. She was very, very good at sports, like very, very good. So there's no doubt that she knows. There's no doubt.
What's up, Abby? How you doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. All right. How was prom? Was it fun?
It was fun. I had a group of friends that are crazy, so yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
I had to I stayed up all night and then I had to fly to my brother's college graduation the next morning at like 8 a.m. That was not a fun flight. I didn't feel so good. That's what happened.
I can only imagine that one.
Yeah. All right, I want to close it on this. The Nationals have a bullpen like golf cart that's bringing relievers into the game. Did you see Stephen Okert I don't know if you played with Okert in Oakland or not. You probably missed him.
Yeah, I missed him.
Okay. So he gets out and he tips the driver. He said, yes. Now, it's great. Very funny. They asked him afterward. He tipped him $5. Now, if you're a reliever in the show, aren't your teammates going to get on you a little bit if you only tip him $5?
That goes back to the JT thing. Like, just because, like, okay, so I tip him, no one else tips him, and now I'm a bad guy because of how much I'm tipping him. Like, no one else tipped him. Like, what are you talking about? No, like, if you're getting mad because he like gave him $5, that's on you. Like, that's just okay. What like, okay, just because you're in the big leagues, what should it be? A minimum of what? 20, 50, 100? Like, what?
Okay, well, Plouffe's the one who called him out. Plouffe, who made a good
Trevor. Come on.
No.
No, come on. Okay, he might have been the only person throughout the whole entire year that has tipped him. So, if you're mad at $5, are you saying $5 is worse than zero?
Okay. All right, you're building your case.
Yeah.
I understand.
Listen, okay. I see a lot of Trevor takes, and I was like, let me jump on with Trevor. What is he talking about right now? Plouffe, I love you, by the way.
Do you have one you want me to pass along to him?
No. There's too many. No, honestly, I think you guys are great to each other. It's awesome. But honestly, I'm all for it. If he would have made it rain on him or something, just a whole bunch of fives or something, that'd have been funny too. But hey, you know what? That was great.
Well, I know that Sean Casey used to get ripped on because he used to, you guys have your bags taken care of when you're on the road, and he only tipped $2 per bag, and so everybody at MLB Network would just kill Casey. What are you doing, man? $2? Spend a little bit of the $6 million you made this year.
Yeah. $2 is bad.
Okay, see?
$2 is bad.
I mean, what do we give? $10 a bag? 20?
Honestly, it all depends on kind of what I have in my wallet. Usually, you have a 20 or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, that's good.
I mean, maybe and honestly, if I don't say I have a $100 bill, I'm that's on me, so to speak. Here's $100. It is what it is. I'm not gonna tip you. You're bringing my bags up to my room, but one thing that people don't realize in Toronto is we go through customs a million times, and we got to get our own bags. So we have to actually go through customs and get our bags. So that part of it is kind of gone. That's a whole nother time. The whole nother time there is travel with Toronto.
I like that. Previewing the next time. All right.
Yeah. Well, God bless it.
I've eaten up enough of your time. Go get ready to head on over to Comerica and watch Alek Manoah shove, and then you're back on the mound, I imagine, early next week, right?
Yeah, Andrew Chafin's over there too. I want to see him throw.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Andrew Chafin, your old housemate.
He was warming up yesterday, and I'm like, man, let's go. And he didn't get in, but I can't wait. I might get thrown out. Hey, I might get thrown out when he's on the mound. Because why? I'm gonna be heckling the absolute hell out of him.
I love it.
Yeah, I can't wait. And Canna too. Mark Canna, he wasn't in there yesterday. If he's in there today, I'm letting him have it too.
Did you see Chafin get all pissed off after giving up the home run to David Fry recently, where he went nuts?
Yeah,
Did you see that?
Then literally half a second later, he was like, "Hi,"
That is Chafin to a T, man. He is one of a kind, that dude.
I love him.
All right, man. It was great catching up. I'm happy we were able to do this, and good to see a smile on your face. Go get the rest of that season turned around and tell everybody hello. We'll see you soon, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you all.
All right, brother. So for Chris Bassitt, our awesome producer, Robbie Scirocco, our amazing intern, Tommy, as well, I am Chris Rose. We'll see you next time here on the Chris Rose Rotation, a production of John Boy Media.